Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. That means we're only going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite. As you know, we enter the fallout or the aftermath, however you want to call it, since Forbidden Door. So the obvious question is, where do we go next after that? So that's a very good question. We still continue with more of the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament. That is something we definitely going to be talking about. But, however, are still got some rivalries going on, the same old thing? Well, we'll find out as well too. And of course, a couple of news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod. So, if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe and click like, and we'll get things going for everybody. So, right now, we're just going to be reviewing one review, and that is, of course, AEW Dynamite. So, let's get started. Our opening match is Jon Moxley versus Tomohiro Ishii. Now, this has come off the heels after Forbidden Door. If you guys remember, Blackpool Combat Club, mostly consistent with Yuta, Claudio, and Moxley, when they teamed up with Shota Umino and Takeshita, were unsuccessful to defeat the Elite, Eddie Kingston, and Tomohiro Ishii. So basically, we're going to see like a bit of what's the post of what happened after that. However, this is not the first time that Tomohiro Ishii and Moxley have faced off to each other. If you guys remember clearly, when Moxley made his debut in AEW, he also made his trip to Japan and participated in the G1. Tomohiro Ishii was in the same block as him, but I cannot recall if Tomohiro Ishii beat him. As you know, he is known as the Stone Pitbull. Now, the entirety of the match was a brutal match, as you probably would expect. But however, Eddie Kingston does not trust the fact that, of course, Yuta and Claudio were right there, because, as you know, this could lead to, of course, the Blackpool Combat Club try to either cut corners to ensure they win their match. So that kind of put that in ease for everyone. But however, Moxley did defeated Ishii with the Death Rider, but of course, Kingston decided to say, see, you don't need to beat him with just those guys. So basically he's saying, you don't need these two idiots to do your dirty work. You can do things on your own. But of course, the little thing did not end right there. Later on, during the backstage, of course, Kingston and Moxley have been in each other's faces. And caught in the middle of this, of course, is Renee Paquette, Jon Moxley's wife. So basically, you know, Kingston has been criticizing Moxley with the way he's been acting up. But however, you know, Renee tells him that he needs to fix this mess that he started. But problem is, we've seen this type of stories before where, of course, friendships intended to break in some capacity. So let's move on. Now, we did see a little interview with Adam Cole, as you know, because they're put up in a blind tag or something with Jon Moxley. However, he seems like he wants to hang out with them and that sort of thing. But the problem is, Adam Cole, he knows he cannot trust him. Everybody knows once you shake hands with the devil, that's when you let your guard down. But Cole is no idiot. Even Roderick Strong later on did showed up and told him that. So he's trying to play play along with his little game. Sooner or later, of course, Adam Cole may find an opening to try to outsmart him once again. So we'll see how that turns out. Now, the Elite, as you know, they were successful along with Kingston and Ishii, beating the BCC, Takeshita, and Umino, and of course, Shota. Of course, they decided, both Hangman and the Bucks, known as the Hung Bucks, decided to, of course, put themselves in an open challenge trios match. And to respond to the challenge was the Dark Order, consistent of Evil Uno, Silver, and Reynolds. Now, recently we have been seeing those guys have been in a lot of stress. Recently, as you know, what happened with Stu Grayson in Ring of Honor, and now this thing with Hangman. So basically, things are now becoming very chaotic on that side. So basically, they didn't want to do this, but it seems Dark Order were determined to do it, regardless of anything. So they gladly accepted the challenge. Now, as you know, we also saw at the end Jericho and Guevara. They came up short, losing to Sting, Darby Allin, and of course Naito. But apparently, this thing between Jericho and Sting is far from over. So basically, as you know, this was the first time that anybody can recall these guys ever meet. So that is something. But we will see those two in our main event, taking on Sting and Darby Allin. Now, to the Trios Open Challenge, Dark Order versus the Elite. This is a very interesting matchup because Dark Order recently has been showing much of the aggression side. Now, this is something that was brought upon by Stu Grayson because he believes that Dark Order has strayed away from what it was back then. So they have shown more aggression. But in the end of this match, we did see Hangman apply the buckshot lariat on Silver, giving them the win. But out of nowhere, here comes the BCC and Takeshita, who seems like they have unfinished business with them. So because of that, of course, the Dark Order were there, but they just walked out. So basically, it seems like that their friendship with Hangman is out the window. But however, this thing with the BCC, they will never let go of a loss, and that includes if it revolves, of course, around the Elite. Kingston even came around because, as you know, he has issues towards Claudio. But however, Moxley decided that they're going to take this another level, and that's going to take place on July 19th in Boston, which will be their debut, and they declared blood and guts. And I think this is something I know that I've been seeing all over social media, that this could lead to that. So we have seen wrestlers that go into that type of a way. So we will see the blood and guts. So we'll see where it takes us from there. Now, we saw what happened, of course, at Forbidden Door at the end of the IWGP World Heavyweight title match. Jungle Boy attacked Hook right after it. So, of course, Taz is not happy about it. I mean, any father would be pissed, but he's not too worried about Hook. He knows that Hook can take care of himself. He knows he's his own man. But however, Jungle Boy decided, to abandon the Tarzan move. I just saw this on Twitter. Joey Janela even goes, "What the fuck, Jungle Boy?" So it looks more like he's turning into, how do I say this? Like a Hollywood version of Jack Perry. That's what I've been seeing. But he feels that, Hook turned his back on him or something. Like, he's throwing twist of words of what he's saying. Some people even talked about that his promo was the worst. I mean, look, we have seen some people are good at the mic, some are don't. And I think Jack Perry is one of those that hasn't had too much time with the mic. But he'll probably eventually, excuse me, he'll eventually learn. But however, he's saying that he's going to beat up Hook, but Hook came after him, chasing him. And of course, Taz is like saying, "I can't wait to see when he catches up to him." And then, of course, the camera sees Jungle Boy running with his tails between his legs. But of course, it's only a matter of time until we see Hook get his hands on Jungle Boy. So that's going to be interesting. But there was a exclusive content that was thrown on Twitter where Hook just says one word: "Jack, you fucked up." So he knows that he messed up. So we're gonna see what happens till then. Now, our next match it was supposed to be, of course, the quarterfinals of the Women's Owen Hart Cup tournament. Due to the circumstances, Britt Baker fall ill, so they had to postpone it until the following week. So Ruby Soho was scheduled to face, but they gave a local talent since they're still in Canada, Alexia Nicole. If you guys never seen her, Alexia Nicole was in Impact Wrestling for a while until the pandemic hit. Haven't seen her for quite some time, but I have been following her on Twitter. She's pretty much doing well for herself in Canada, but she hasn't made any appearance down south of Canada to the U.S. But we'll see what happens. But this is her debut. But as expected, this match ended with, of course, a message by Ruby Soho applying the lockjaw. As you know, she is determined to get revenge on Britt Baker for last year's Owen Hart Cup tournament. If you guys remember, it was Britt Baker who won. Ruby Soho was the one who was I think, in the finals of it. But let's see what happens till then. Now, as you know what happened at Rampage this last Friday, we saw the arrival of Johnny TV, or as we know him, Johnny Multiple by most people, or some people, or by WWE fans as Johnny Nitro or John Morrison, however you want to call him. So he made his debut. He's now part of the QTV. Seems now they're now targeting the Hardys on this one. So we'll see what it takes place. So this is going to be a very interesting storyline to follow. Now our main event, we saw, of course, Sammy Guevara and Chris Jericho teaming up to take on Darby Allin and Sting. This, I have to say, is the most brutal match. But I think we should talk about mostly the one thing we all witnessed. What the F we just saw with Sting. I mean, Sting went on top of the goddamn ladder. Told Darby Allin, let me have him. He had Sammy Guevara right across from him through the tables. And you saw the reactions from the fans. There was one guy who was like, they even posted that on Twitter. I did not expect that. I'm just sure many of us would say, Sting is in his 60s. He needs to take it easy. But I don't know exactly why he would do it. I know that he wants to have his final goodbye, but I don't know exactly if this is the right way to do it. But nonetheless, it was crazy. And I'm sure some of you thought the same thing too. But of course, the best part is Sting actually went toe-to-toe with Jericho. Just those two in the ring. And I think that's something amicable. I wouldn't be surprised if we see this later on. Those two once again in the ring. And I think that's something we can see. But it's only a matter of time of when. But one thing we did see is Sting applying the Scorpion Deathlock and tapping out Jericho. I'm sure we're going to hear people say this to Jericho the next time. You tap out. We will see that eventually. So we're not idiots. We know that could happen. But like I said before, we could definitely see a possibility between Sting and Jericho. Now, Jericho said that this was never happening, but I have to say this is something that maybe many of us saying this was a long overdue to see between those two. We know they have crossed paths before, but we never seen them in the same ring at all. So it's only a matter of time. So I think that's pretty much it for our AEW stuff. So let's move on to our final thing, news updates. Alright, so welcome to our news update. So, let's get started. Now, I want to put this out right now for all of you guys know that I've been reporting about the brand new all-women's promotion that will be launching on, of course, in October on the 22nd. Bad news. Apparently, Eric Howard, who is a local podcaster here in San Diego, who's been working with this group, trying to bring in Yoshi wrestlers from Japan. Unfortunately, beyond their control, it was already announced that Act Yasukawa and Natsumi Sumikawa will not be able to appear for that particular show. They have to cancel. Now, of course, things like this are happening. Now, keep in mind, these two ladies work for Actwres girls. So, sometimes there's things like that that they are beyond their control. However, Eric Howard did say this, that if anybody who's intending to attend the show, who were planning to see these two ladies, there will be refunds. So basically, he apologizes to the fans who wanted to see them. So if any of you guys who are from the LA area are planning to see them, now you know. So that's pretty much it. Now, more of the Yoshi world. Marika Kobashi. Those who remember her or don't, those who don't know who she is. Marika Kobashi was a part of the Tokyo Yoshi Pro Wrestling since for a couple years, and eventually last year she, took a hiatus to focus on her studies. However, Marika posted this on her social media that she will be studying abroad in England in August during her summer vacation. Um, this is her way of trying to learn to improve her English language. Before she graduated from Tokyo Pro Wrestling, she was determined to learn how to speak English, try to be more in touch with her American fan base, and I think that's pretty cool. So, she never mentioned if she will be actually wrestling in the UK. I'm sure there's going to be talk about that at some point, but she never made that specifically about it. But we'll see what happens then. Now, more on the Yoshi world. This one I think is a very interesting one. As you all know, Sarray, or as we know her in Japan, Sareee, has been making headways yet again. During a Sealy event, during the main event that involves the Beyond the Sea title, Sarray shows up and issues a challenge to Arisa Nakamura for her title. Now, those who don't know this or know about this, before Sarray actually came here to the States for NXT, she was part of the promotion from September of 2017 February of 2017 all the way to September. So she was part of that promotion for a short time. So it's interesting that she went back to her roots. But I highly doubt that she may go back to Diana due to the fact that they may have a new ace on the woodworks. But Sarray issued the challenge, and challenge has been accepted. But there's still no word when this match will take place. So any of Sarray fans out there are interested, I will be actually finding out more information as we go along. Now, interesting news has come around from WWE. As you know, they announced for some 3-day shows in the UK in October. We have on October 29th, Wembley Stadium, and of course we have on the 30th of October in Nottingham, and then the 31st at Glasgow in the Hydro. This on the 31st. So they're gonna have 3 shows in the same back-to-back in October. So that's gonna be interesting. Wrestling Revolver as announced for the Cage of Horrors that takes place on the 1st of July. Marina Shafir makes her return. So this is gonna be quite her type of match. Stardom has announced for their upcoming event later on in July, early July, Midsummer Champions. It's going to be at the Kanagawa Yokohama Budokan. This is going to be a lot interesting. So we haven't, so we're excited for that. However, we have the West Coast Pro for the West Coast Cup. This for anybody from the Bay Area, you may have heard of this or not. Marvelous Zace Takumi Iroha will be making her appearance, and she'll be taking on the current West Coast Pro Women's Champion. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Now for our GCW updates, this is we are going to see on July 4th, Backyard Wrestling is back. So we have Joey Janela taking on Del Tuno, hopefully I pronounce it right. This one's on the 4th. Now, if you guys don't know the Backyard Wrestling Show, this is where many wrestlers come up with fictional names to have a little bit of fun. So I've seen it many times. Now, for the My Name Is show on August 4th, it was announced that Mike Bailey, the Speedball Mike Bailey, will be in action to take on Leo Rush. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And of course, they announced for a 3-day show in Australia, back-to-back in 3 different cities. August 25th, they will be in Sydney. August 26th in Melbourne. And of course, August 27th at Brisbane. Hopefully I pronounce it right. Yeah. And finally, I'm just going to put this out there. I don't know if anybody has been paying attention on Twitter recently. Uh, if you guys have noticed or not, it appears that something has been going on between both Taichi from Just Five Guys and, of course, Cosmic Angels leader Tam Nakano. Apparently, Taichi took Tam Nakano into a Sea Otters date. Yeah, you heard me right. I know what you guys are thinking. Are those two guys official? I don't know. I know that Taichi has a thing for her. I know they have a great relationship as friends when they first met. But someone commented this a while back about how Tam Nakano says that she would like to be Taichi's future wife. And of course, Taichi is determined to express his love for her. So it's still unclear whether they're official or not. Even Stardom tweeted this, a picture of those two, like they were dumbfounded, like they have no clue what to make of it. But we do know that Taichi and Tam have been hanging out a lot. Even recently, Tam and Boy were hanging out not only with Taichi, but also with Uncle Nobu, as Taichi likes to talk, or should I say, Kanemaru. So, I don't know. It's all over social media. You guys should take a look. I don't know. I think there's Taichi has a YouTube where they were on the way to the place called Marine World, which it has otters or something like that. But nonetheless, I don't know for sure if they're actually dating or not. But I'm sure Stardom will definitely try to throw in a story about that. And I think some people are probably going to question, what about Miho Abe? Well, I don't think she's in the picture now since Suzuki-gun disbanded, but we'll see what happens. So I think that's pretty much it for now. So I will see you guys later. But right now, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. First things first, before I announce the next episode, I know it was late. I did upload it, the DWZ at wrestling events, where I went to see AEW when they came to my hometown. I'm sorry, I was caught up with a lot of things, but I finally had the opportunity to do it. So hope you guys did enjoy that. But let's making the next announcement. As you know, our next episode is a Thursday. Not only we will have Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor, we will have Choco Pro. So that is something we definitely will do. We'll be doing a three reviews on the next one, which is going to be 1112. So yeah, we made it that far. So I think that's pretty much it for what we have. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day. Bang.